Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a week or two. I know my last main video was about the metal shavings in the oil on my 2022 BRZ. Took it to a dealership. Surprising, there's a lot of juicy stuff that went down at the dealership. So let's get into it on this video. And don't forget, guys, hit the subscribe button. Once we hit 10,000 subscribers, I am going to be doing a coilover giveaway, and I am going to be giving away a couple other prizes. So hit that subscribe button and let's get into today's video. So it's been officially 2 weeks that I've taken the car to the dealership, I think, or maybe just 1 week. I'm not quite sure. I put close to 700 miles now. Just been driving the car to work. I took it to the sinkhole. Wasn't able to find the sinkhole, but I did get to the beach, and that was probably like the most miles I put, which was like around 400 miles. That was all the way past, I live in San Jose, that was past San Francisco, getting close to Fort Briggs, Point Arena, Lighthouse, that area. Really beautiful curves, really beautiful drive, scenic route, and I was pushing the car, so didn't get any issues. And there she is. Just sitting super dirty as always. That's gonna be the thumbnail. So let's recap. That day I was actually filming a video on RTV and some of the places you could check for RTV. I was doing my regular oil change, which was around like 3,500 miles, and I was using my modal 0W20 gear, not gear oil, just regular oil. And I did the oil change, drained it. I had a little container where it like drips onto it and then it fills it up. And I did the oil change, and I was gonna do 2 test samples. I was gonna ship them out to Blackstone Labs. One, which was just gonna be like a regular oil sample, just the engine bay. And then the second one was gonna be me purposely putting RTV in the oil, just mixing it around and then taking it off the RTV, and hopefully some of the residue or whatever RTV is made out of was going to contaminate that oil. So when I shipped both of them out, I was going to say that one of them was from this 2022 BRZ, you know, close to 11,000 miles, and then the other one, I was just going to say it was another 22 BRZ. I was going to say it was the same car, just so like, you know, when they do it, I don't want them thinking that it's the same car. I want them thinking it's like 2 different BRZs. That was the whole point of the video. But when I did the oil change and I moved the container to the side, I noticed there were so many metal shavings on top near the drain hole for the container. Took pictures, took video, and then that's when I was like, okay, this video isn't going to go as planned. I'm still going to send out the first sample because that still makes sense, because if there is metal shavings, there's probably going to be like higher, you know, counts of like, I don't know, iron or whatever, aluminum, whatever you want to, whatever engine, whatever the boxer engine is made out of. All I know is there was going to be a higher contamination of those pieces in the oil. So I shipped that out. I'm waiting for that to get back. I believe it might take like 2 to 3 weeks, maybe longer, from other people that have sent it out. So I'm just going to wait on that, make a video on that later. That same day after I was done with the oil change, I got on the phone, called my dealership. I included a small part of that conversation in the last video if you guys want to go check it out. And then I went, my appointment was Tuesday, but the guy told me to go Monday morning and they'll get me in. It'll only take like 2 hours or whatever. I get there, the guy's name was Jeff, the one I talked to on the phone. I get there Monday morning, and of course Jeff doesn't work that day. What a surprise. Jeff puts me on a day that he's not going to be there for. Okay, not a big deal. I explained to Matthew, the guy that was working there. I talked to Jeff, and he told me to come in so you guys can inspect it, so you guys could see if there's still metal shavings in the oil. And the guy was like pretty clueless. He was like, what do you mean inspect? And I was like, well, I don't know what you mean inspect. Jeff told me to just bring it in so you guys could take a look at it. Obviously there's not going to be any oil. Obviously there's not going to be any metal in the oil because the oil only has like 5 miles to it. Wasn't able to really drive the car throughout the weekend. So the guy was just confused, and pretty much he was asking me like, hey, how do I what do you want us to do? And I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, all I know is you don't want metal shavings in oil after 10,000 miles. Maybe with the brand new car, maybe the first oil change or two, there might be some metal shavings. But after a few oil changes, it's probably not a good sign that there's metal in your oil. For his title to be service advisor, he wasn't really advising me on how to approach a situation. I just took the car in so they could inspect it, so they could see like, hey, the car is still running good. That was my approach. That's all I wanted. I just wanted them to look at it and make sure everything was good, make sure there was no bent rods, nothing broken, nothing seized, just a car working fine. Because I have plans to drive this car to LA for Cars and Copters, for Formula One, for Formula Drift. I also have plans to go to Yosemite in like maybe this weekend or maybe next weekend. And also, I just got back from that small little trip to Point Reyes. So I was like, hey, I want to make these drives, but I'm scared that I'm going to be stuck on the side of the freeway, I don't want that to happen. Me driving to Yosemite like 4 hours, 4 hours from here, and then I'm stuck there, and then like I don't know how to get back. I don't have service. So could you guys just inspect the car to make sure that it's in running condition, that it works fine, and if there's an issue, address it. The guy was pretty much clueless. He pretty much just didn't really know what to do. Like he kind of just stood there and he was just staring at me. We had this like awkward silence of just standing there, and I was like, well, if you guys don't want to do it, it's fine. If you guys don't want to inspect it, it's fine. I know there's cars that have been having RTV issues, and this could be part of it. We don't know. The only way of knowing is if you drop the oil pan. But obviously there's no recall on that. And the guy was like, well, we're aware of the recall. Since there's no recall, you would have to pay out of pocket if we dropped the pan. So he pretty much said that they would have to charge me for dropping the oil pan to check for RTV. And I wasn't going to pay for that, obviously, because I didn't bring the car for RTV issue directly. I brought it for the metal shavings. If both problems relate to each other, which I have a feeling like they do, because what else would really cause it? I know there's a few things, but for a brand new car and for a defect that's already going on multiple cars, it would probably be that. So the guy went to go talk to what I assume his supervisor, the guy in that. I feel like they just didn't want to deal with it. So the guy comes back, Matthew comes back, and he tells me since there's no check engine light and since there's no knocking, we can't do much. All we could do is basically just inspect it, and that's just do an oil change and see if there's any metal shavings. And I was like, okay, well, that's not really inspecting it. I just want to get a written statement in paper saying I found metal shavings when I did my oil change, and I recorded it. There's document video and pictures that there's metal shavings. I showed him the pictures, and he was like, okay, we'll do that. So it took about 3 hours for the oil change to happen. And he showed me a little, I think it was like a Gatorade bottle, water bottle full of oil, like a little bit of sample. And to me, the oil didn't really look like my oil because it was brand new oil. It should have been way more gold than that. But maybe, maybe it just gets dark like that quick. So who knows? But he said there was no metal shaving. So in my head, I just agreed. I was like, okay, there's no oil. But in my head, I was like, it seems like we're not really going to get anywhere. The fact that the car's on knocking and there's no check engine light means they don't want to do anything. They're not going to spend the hours and resources taking some bolts off to inspect the actual engine. So in my head, I was like, whatever. They just get a documented proof. So later on, once the engine goes, the warranty is going to cover it. And on top of that, if they don't want to take care of me, there's obviously, Subaru USA, Subaru of America, whatever you want to call them, and at least I would have documented proof that there was metal shavings in the engine when I did my oil change, and they acknowledged it. So he printed out the paper. He said that there's an oil change done for them, and to bring the car back if I want to do an oil change with them at 16,000 miles. So they want me to do oil changes every 5,000 to 6,000 miles, close to 6,000 miles, and to me that's ridiculous. I think 4,000 is more than enough for an oil change, and they want an extra 2,000 on top. 2,000. They want an extra 2,000 miles on top. So I'm gonna bring the car in next oil change with them so they can inspect it, and I'm gonna be right next to them to make sure that when they drain it, I see if there's metal shavings, because I don't want them pulling some sketch saying like there's no metal shaving. But my car's been driving pretty smooth. I haven't had any issues. It doesn't sound like anything's wrong with it. So I'm just gonna keep driving it until I pretty much have a failure, or maybe there was a chance that maybe at 10,000 miles, there was just a little bit of like metal that was just still like flowing around there and just never got cleared out. Maybe it's a boxer thing, I really don't know. But in my head, I know that after like a certain amount of miles, you shouldn't have any more metal shavings. But hey, I posted it on the Facebook group chat, and there was a lot of people. There's a lot of hate, which I don't understand. I figured when you have a YouTube channel, you have your own people. You have your people that subscribe to you, right? So like you guys, you watch the videos. You guys are part of this community, Zero Planet community, where you kind of like help each other out with car stuff. Obviously my channel is very heavy on Subaru stuff, so we kind of like ask questions. I try to answer them, or other people that are more knowledgeable than me try to answer them. And we're kind of like we're a community where we try to help each other. And then you take it a step further, where it's like the Facebook groups, where you got to go out of your way, search it up, try to enter the group, they got to approve it, and then you're there. So that's you really going out of your way to really be a part of another community. And then you get all this hate. There's a few people that were kind of talking like, oh, what did you expect? Like you expected to go get an inspection and not pay for it. Like you're so privileged and all this. And in my head, I'm like, dude, how's that even being privileged? Like you buy a new product and it's kind of defective, and you take it into the manufacturer, or whatever you buy it from, you expect to pay for the flaw that new product has. That does not make sense to me at all. So instead of arguing with the guy over the internet, I just let it go. And there was a few other people that just, when I wrote the post, they just did not understand exactly how to. I guess it's really that one thing. When you tell one person and they tell the other person, they start changing the words off. But it's like just from one post, people can't read. So where am I now with my 22 BRZ? I'm still enjoying it. I think I passed 11,000 miles now, and I'm just gonna keep driving it until it blows up. I doubt it's gonna blow up because the car hasn't been having any issues at all. So I know usually with like a first generation car, there's gonna be some bugs, but honestly, everything has bugs. Like from an iPhone that just came out, like the iPhone 14, where a lot of people are having issues with the eSIM, to just like the iPhone 13, it still has bugs. There's no perfect product out there. Okay, so what I want you guys to take away from this video: one, go for the car you actually want. If you want a BRZ GR86, go for it. There's a few people that have hit me up saying that they canceled their orders. Personally, I think that's a dumb decision, just because if you got the order, you could actually probably sell it and make at least like maybe $1,000 to a couple, like 1,000 to maybe 3,000 minimum of profit for a brand new GR86 BRZ. So I think just from like a financial standpoint, you could make a little bit of extra money, especially if you've been waiting like 6-7 months for your car to be shipped. So that's one reason why I think it's kind of like a little dumb, like especially if you've been waiting like 5 months already. Just get the car, enjoy it. If you don't like it, trade it in for whatever or sell it. And you won't lose any depreciation at least at this moment in time. Two, wait for the recall. If you don't want to get the car right now, just wait for the recall. I'm still enjoying my car. I actually ordered a few more things recently, so there's one mod that I'm really excited about. It was such a waste of money, but I think it's cool, and I just got done developing the cubbies for the platform, so that's exciting. There is one thing that I ordered from Japan that hopefully gets here next Friday, if not the following week. I'm really excited for that because it's a little bit of a gimmick, but it's an OEM option plus, but it's not really OEM option plus for the BRZ platform. And if I'm able to make it work, it's gonna just tie the whole car together very well. like chicken Alfredo. So I'm really excited for that. I guarantee there's no other BRZ in the world that's gonna have this little mod, and I think once I put it, some other people are gonna like it, and then they're gonna start doing it on their cars. Um, so so I'm really excited for that. Just because I doubt anyone has done it, and I've searched everywhere. I've searched in like the Japan forums. I've even followed a couple of like BRZ GR86 owners in Japan, and they've done some like custom mods which I kind of like, some of the fourth brake lights, but I haven't seen them do this option, and I'm really shocked because I thought they would do it before us, you know, because it's like I gotta import it from Japan. It takes 10 to 15 days, maybe longer for them. It's like just go to the shop, just go to the dealership and buy it. Which actually I could, or actually I could do that here. I could do the same thing here, but it was cheaper shipping it from Japan over here. It was like, you know what, I'm not even gonna get into it. I'm gonna show you guys some different video. I just want to end this video with saying, one, my car is driving fine. It might not be RTV related. It might be RTV related. I'm aiming for it's RTV related if there is metal flakes in my oil again and it's causing engine failure. I'm taking it out to Yosemite. It'll be funny if I get stuck out there in my car, engine gets knocked. I doubt it. I doubt it though. You always just gotta think positive. But at least it'll create content for you guys, so that's one plus side. And you know, never really had a car that's had knocked before, so it would be interesting to know how I deal with that. So I'm not stressing over it, guys. I just want you guys to know that whatever you guys want to get, go for it. So in my opinion, never worry too much on like small stuff like that. So yeah, I could have RTV issues, but look in the long run. Like all these people that have been enjoying the cars, that have been tracking the cars, that have been doing all these mods to the cars, and just been driving it everywhere. They've enjoyed it. Yeah, there's a few people that have had, knock. I don't know. That's how I see it, guys. So thanks for watching. Subscribe. Good vibes, and see you guys on the next one.